everybody, welcome back to Right Family Gaming. We are on Alaskan Road Truckers today. Gonna go deliver this load here. I know it's been a while, guys, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people like Alaskan Road Trucker content, so I apologize for those. I know it's been a while. It's just been a real rough time right now. I could go around this, but I ain't going to. Because I need the experience points. Alright, so make sure there ain't nothing coming here. Because as of right now, we got 91%. And it's been so long, I don't even remember what I hit. But let's try not to get no more. So, I hope everybody's had a good Monday morning so far. I know it sucks, everybody's going back to work, but hope they had a good weekend anyway. Safe one. We didn't really do anything, we just stayed at home like we usually do. Boy, he got loose, didn't he? So we're about out of winter. It's right between it. It was in the red. Now it's down to 31. We must be getting in a winter spot. I think when we first started it was 40 something, so. So it's definitely not time to take the coat and the radiator cover off yet. I think I did take the chains off. And I unlocked the diff. Because there's no ice or anything, so. Or no snow. That right there is what happens. That's why I get hit all the time. Oh, we're going right here. Got cars stop right in front of us, and these big old things can't slow down like the cars do. As most of you know, these videos I do is mostly for getting the word out, you know. But we have fun doing it. I still talk about the game, you know. But most of my stuff is mental health awareness, God, you know. To me, they both go in hand to hand, because without God, the mental health is worse. And for those that don't believe and don't think it's true, well, I'm sorry, but how would you know if you don't, you know, you ain't never had God, so you wouldn't know if it worked or not, would you? But I'm not one of those that just speaks and talks and don't know nothing, because that's the difference in me. I live it every day, so especially in the past, I've lived that life. Boy, that was about an accident, wasn't it? Shut up. Now look, they didn't even back up or nothing. They just stayed. And then they're honking the horn at me. I know one thing, I gotta get to driving more, playing this game more, so I can get stuff unlocked, cause I gotta fix these brakes. This thing does not stop. I mean, I know in real life, cause my grandparents used to drive a truck, it is harder to stop them, you know. Especially going down the hills and everything else, and you're loaded, it's really bad, but it ain't this bad. I need to start getting out and taking pictures of them things too. That's how you're supposed to unlock them, I guess, or get points for it. I think I tried it once and it didn't do nothing. So anyone else play this? Any one of my subscribers or viewers, I should say? If you do, let me know if I do something wrong or something, because I'm not really, I'm just a beginner on this thing. So, I mean, I've played it for a while now, but as you all can tell, I don't play it very often. So if you got any pointers, leave them in the comments, or, you know, message me or whatever. And if you would want, you got a question, leave it in the comments. I'll try to answer it if I know it. I'd like to get more involved with all you guys. I'd like for you all to get more involved. Talk back and forth and say stuff and like stuff, you know. I always do. If I support somebody, I always try to leave some kind of comment and like, and even if, to be honest, even if I don't like it, I'm gonna still, just because of the person, you know. Oh, this was 2-lane anyway. Didn't even look. So yeah, leave some comments, holler at me. Well, we got through it before it turned. I didn't think we would. Well, I don't think we're going to make it there before I have to lay down. As you can tell, my energy or sleepiness is getting a little wore down there, and I still got 160 something miles left, so. Come on now. Oh no, I know it probably don't, but sometimes you honk that horn, it seems like a light changes faster. That can't be speed limit 55. Yeah, I don't trust that. I'm trying not to lose no money. I remember taking a big loan out for this truck, so. Was it worth it? I think so. I like the truck and all, don't get me wrong, but I miss my Bigfoot. I thought it was a pretty paint job. And I'm just a big fan of Bigfoots and all the monster things, cryptids, whatever they call them. Mothman and all that stuff, Jersey Devil. Whoa, you see that? Holy cow. First time I've seen an AI do that. Computer. I've studied all that stuff all my life. Like I said, I had to teach myself everything. I really didn't have a family growing up. My grandparents, but you know, they did everything they could to support me, so they was truck drivers. They was only home about 1 week out of a month. I was on the streets. I was always by myself. My mama loved me, don't get me wrong. I knew she did too. We just didn't get along. She was so lonely from working 2 jobs and taking care of us that anytime she got a boyfriend or a man, she let them do whatever. So I was hit on and stuff and beat on. I mean, not to the point to where I'm broken down or broke bone or nothing like that. Just kind of pushed around, you know. And then, of course, my dad. My real dad, that's what... I say I don't have a dad, and I really don't in my mind, but God's my father. That's all I need. But I tell you what, it breaks my heart. It does. You know, I know kids that grew up without dads, and, you know, their dad passed away too early somehow. And that breaks my heart, it truly does. Or broken families, you know, or divorces and all that. I can't stand seeing it, especially when it's hard on kids. But I will tell you this much. I would have rather had that happen than what I went through. Mine mentally abused me. He never once touched me now. He never beat on me. He was a drunk. He drank all the daggone time. I can't call him a drunk because he wasn't really drunk, you know. He actually could drink a whole case and not be drunk. But I just say drunk because I guess he's alcoholic, you say. Because he's always got a beer in his hand no matter what. He used to. I don't know. I ain't seen him in years now. But I was made to go see him when I was like 5. Mom needed help, so she sued him for child support. And of course, they ruled that I had to go see him. And when I was born, he didn't even show up. Mom and him never was married. They dated for a little while, and that was it. And he got with somebody else, my stepmom, or was my stepmom. And she was sweet. We all got along with her. But anyway, yeah, Dad, I'd bring friends over and he'd talk to me like I was nothing, you know. He called me white trash all the time. You ain't gonna be nothing in this life. You're just white trash. You're doing that wrong, no matter what. No matter what I did, I never could get him to acknowledge me or tell me he's proud of me or even love me, really. I remember taking friends over there, and I had this friend in school. He was a transfer student, and he came from Texas, and he was a bull rider. He was young, you know. He rode bulls though, and horses and stuff. He a big cowboy, I'm telling you, boots, spurs, all that. He was a good guy though, good boy. And we run around for a little while. So I took him and one other guy and my girlfriend at the time over Dad's, and we hung out and stuff. I just introducing them, you know. I think it wasn't long before I started driving, to be honest. And Peyton was telling him about riding the bulls and stuff, and in the juvenile stage, and winning some trophies and stuff like that, which is all cool, you know. I listened to it, and then all of a sudden, Dad just comes out and says, "Well, I sure wish my son could do something like that. Could do something with his life instead of wasting it and this and being white trash and all that crap." He told me that all the time. So, needless to say, I was depressed by the time I had depression by the time I was 11. I started doing pills because of the depression. Of course, I didn't know that back then, you know. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I just knew I hated life and wanted to die, tried to die. You know, I was young, so I didn't know what else. I didn't know how to tell somebody or talk to somebody. Plus, back then, 87 and all that, in the early 90s, it wasn't as bad as it is now, you know. Not a whole lot of people knew about mental health. Wasn't kids killing themselves all the time and all that. It wasn't happening like it is now. So, I just kept my mouth shut. So, I don't know how the clinical depression works. Doctors say I have clinical depression now, but I don't know if you're born with it. They never really described it to me. I looked it up and read on it, studied on it, read on it in rehab and all that, but it never really tells how. I don't know if if you're born with it, or if you get depression and you don't do nothing about it over years, it just turns to clinical. I do know clinical ain't curable. That's the worst one you can have is clinical depression, because you can't. It's never going to be cured. You're always going to be sad, some stage of sad, and overwhelmed, and just really bad. But they can give you medicine to help, keep it from getting as bad. It's just not curable like other depressions. So, yeah. And then, basically, I just turned evil, hated everybody. I always said I was Satan's prince. I always told everybody that they would tell me to go to hell or this and that, and I'd say, well, if I go, I'm taking over the throne. That's how bad I was. I was horrible. I didn't give a crap. I hurt a lot of people. Because, I've trained and fighting. I've took MMA and UFC stuff and Muay Thai and Taekwondo. I did all that. So that made it even worse, because then people start stuff and I'd hurt them, You can seriously hurt somebody with that kind of stuff. So when I say I hurt a lot of people, I mean physically too. More mentally though, just breaking in their houses and stealing good friends' stuff and breaking hearts. That was me. But because of that life, it made me stronger. So when people ask me all the time, do you regret the drugs? Do you regret what you did? No, I don't. I don't regret it. I wouldn't change it. Do I wish I'd have picked a different path? Yeah. But I didn't. So, and I'm not going to say I regret it because it made me the man I am now. And God knew that. That's exactly why He gave us free will, because He already knew I was going to choose the wrong path and what it was going to put me through. All the death and people dying and hurting people and my kids. I remember one night I was so bad off. I was so sick because I didn't have a pill. I think I was on Suboxone at that time. And don't get me wrong, Suboxone can save your life if you do it correctly. If you do it correctly, it can really help you. But if you don't, like I didn't, it ain't going to help you. You're just going to get more addicted to it than any other. And it's harder to get off of than any other drug out there. Trust me, I know. I've done every drug you could think of. But that's, it's just bad stuff. But I ended up wanting a pill real bad, and had a buddy of mine who was supposed to be coming, but he was taking forever. I can't even, I think I gave him some of my food stamps or something, and he was getting his groceries. But of course, drug addicts, they're always doing something to get their drugs, so I don't know what he was doing, but he was trying to get something too. And I hated waiting. That was the worst part, the waiting game. Especially when you gave them your money or card or whatever, and you don't know if they're coming back or not. But yeah, I was so sick. I laid there and was trying to sleep, and my youngest boy, Jensen, I can't remember. Can't remember how old he was. I think he was like 3 or something. However old he was, he was still in diapers. Or no, he had just started going to the bathroom by himself, but he couldn't wipe his butt and stuff. That was, I think he was like 3. And I remember him coming up to me and patting me, shaking me. And I was ignoring him. And then I remember him saying, Dad, I gotta poop. And I smacked him. I didn't hurt him, but I smacked him. Smacked him right in the head. And the look in that little boy's eyes. Like I said, he didn't cry. I didn't smack him hard. He didn't cry or nothing, but the look was worse than any crying ever could be. Right then, I knew how bad I was, and I needed to stop. But you know what, guys? I didn't. It was years after that. I did not stop. And the bad thing is, I knew. I knew how bad I was, and I wanted to quit. That was me. I knew deep down. That's the bad thing. I just kept doing it because it made me feel better. It took my depression and all that away. The more I stayed high, the less I felt for anything. And I mean it. I was bad. It sucked. But the things I did made me who I am. And I'm telling you right now, I tried. I tried every way in the world to quit. I tried methadone. I tried quitting, just on my own. Everything that made out there to try to quit, I tried it. And it just wasn't happening. I'd quit and I'd get sick and I'd go right back to it. Then I finally went to prison. Well, I went to county jail first, which is cakewalk compared to prison. It ain't crap. But I went there and got clean, of course, because I couldn't do it, which I don't know about everybody else's county jail, but ours drugs come in more there in jails and prisons than it does the daggone streets. That's the honest to God truth. But I'd already been without it for like a week and a half or whatever, so I knew I had to just keep going no matter how bad I felt. And I remember the whole time wanting it so bad. I mean, wanting it bad. And wanting it bad and, just trying to, I mean, sometimes I could taste it. I mean, taste it. I could still taste the mouth or the meth, That's how bad things was. So I started doing it. And that was forever. And then I went to prison and I still had the cravings, still wanted it. Just wishing somebody'd bring something in. I wanted it pretty bad. But this is why I preach what I preach. Because I did want it bad. And you know what? For all those times, all those 2 years or 3 years, I wanted it so bad after I quit. All it took was one night. One night and it was over. That was a mistake. I didn't mean to do that. That night that I gave my soul and my heart to Jesus Christ, it was over. I woke up the next morning. I didn't want nothing no more. Didn't taste nothing no more. Didn't care if something come in anymore. I was done. Oh, one night, guys. One night, and it was over. And that's why I preach and I teach. Because, you know, most people don't even understand the Bible and can't even read it. Don't even want to read it. And I was one of those people. I kind of wanted to because I wanted to change. I wanted to get better, you know, and I'd read the Bible and go to church, and it just wasn't working, wasn't clicking. Wasn't understanding it. And that night, not only was the drugs gone, no more of the wanting it and all that, it was all over with. I ended up opening the Bible up, and everything just comes straight to me. Like I knew it all. I mean, I knew everything, could understand it. One night was all it took. And for those of you out there that have been like me and tried going to church and reading and nothing's working, I'm going to tell you right now, it's because you won't fully let go of something. In order to be saved, you got to be a new creature. That's what the blood of Jesus Christ is, the only way. But you have to submit all of yourself, all of your will to Him. Have to. Now, He don't expect you to be perfect. He knows you ain't. He knows you're going to fail. You're still going to sin. But if you don't submit all and bow down to Him, it ain't going to work. So if it's not working for you, there's something there that you need to find. Mine was hate. Sure was. Believe it or not, that was what held me back. I hated my ex-wife. I hated her, my kids' moms. I hated her. I wanted her dead, guys. I mean it. I mean, that's how bad I was. I hated people. She cheated on me. She ruined our marriage. I hated her. I wanted her dead. If I could have found somebody to kill her, I would have. And then, of course, the man she was with, or did it with, if I'd have got my hands on him, I would have went back to prison, or I'd have went to prison again, because this was, you know, I done told him. And that faithful night, greatest night of my life is what I say. Sitting there in prison, preacher came, so of course everybody goes out, says yeah just to get out. You know, they don't want to listen or actually go to church. They just want to get out of the cell, including me half the time. But this time I wanted to change, and I tried when I got out before going to church, and I couldn't figure out what it was. Could not figure out what it was. I was doing everything I could, but I couldn't quit the drugs, and I couldn't straighten my life up. And then finally, that night, that preacher was preaching on that the verse, and it said, Jesus says, you know, you have to forgive others to be forgiven. And then he said, how can Jesus forgive you if you can't forgive others? And when he said that, it hit me in the heart. I mean, when he said that, Jesus jerked me and he said, right there, son, right there, I'm giving you a cue. And I just, I knew right then that that's what was holding me back. The hate that I had. So I went in there in my cell and I cried and I got down on my knees and I bawled and bawled and bawled. And I'd done this before, but it never worked. But this time, I begged him to take the hate out of my heart. For her and for everybody else. I begged him. I mean, I was crying. My cellmate, luckily he was a believer, a Christian, so he was up top just praising the Lord, you know, while I was doing it, and I was crying my eyes out. And then, like I said, I ended up getting up off the floor. Felt different, felt like a light shining. And next thing I know, I'm writing her a 4-page letter begging her to forgive me for the way I acted, for the way I was. I knew then, I could see what I couldn't see before. I seen that, yeah, she left me and she hurt me, and yeah, I do not condone what she did was wrong. She should have never cheated. But I wasn't great, you know. I was on drugs for years, and she was with me, and she fought with me, and tried, and I hurt a lot of people, like I said, and I could see that then, after that night. So I begged her to forgive me. I even asked her man to forgive me. And then I forgive them. And that was it, buddy. The next morning, it was over. Everything was over. I was a changed man. Completely changed. The hate was gone out of my heart. All I could feel was love. Wasn't scared to be in prison no more. You know, I wasn't scared because I'd already done time anyway, so I was respected in there. I had a lot of respect in there. So I kind of had it made, but I wasn't worried about, you know, I was always wanting to get out. You know, oh man, I'll do anything to get out, and please help me get out. I'd change, and I would never change, and I'd go back just like everybody else. I know there's out there listening to you all. They've done it too. All drug addicts do that. And then, but after that night, when Jesus Christ saved my soul and my heart, I didn't care. I wanted out, but I wanted to get out on God's dime, on His time, Jesus' time. When they said it was time, it would be time. So I had like 2 years left, I think. No, 3. 3 years left. And I'd already violated twice. And this time was my 3rd strike. And the lawyer I had was a very not good lawyer. Usually he would just let the 3 strikers, you know, finish their time out. And so I kind of knew that, you know, wasn't going to work. I wasn't going to get out, which is fine. I wasn't worried about it no more. Left it in God's hands. I was going out in the pods teaching the Bible and preaching and gotten, well, I didn't, but there was like 3 times I got about jumped by a bunch of guys and I would not touch them. I stood there and let them do everything they wanted because I was changed. Knowing that I could have took them. I mean, I know, I'm not bragging, but I know what I can do, and I know what I've trained to do. But I didn't want to do it no more. My thought process at that point in time was, after I got saved, was, why do I want to hurt somebody? We're all brothers and sisters. When we hurt our family or hurt each other, Jesus cries. He weeps. And I definitely did not want to make him weep. Not after what all he did for me. So I stood there and I let him talk and crap and blah, 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 and cuss me like a dog. Woo! But I ended up just standing there, you know. And the one time that ended up getting me the actual real respect was the guy that was wanting to fight come up to me, and he was known in the prison for beating guards up, everything else. In other words, when he wanted to fight, he was going to fight. And he didn't do me like that. All he did was cuss me and get in my face, stuff like that, but he never swung, never touched me. And usually he always did. He didn't even talk. Usually he just hit first time. Which he was a boxer. You know, I could tell by the way he held his stuff. And I just stood there. And I remember going into my pod after break was over or whatever. And praying about it, leaving it in God's hands. Walked back out there and not another word was said. I had people all over that pod coming up and asking me, how'd I do it? Why I did it? And they'd never seen Braxton, that was his name, back down like that. That's what I kept saying over and over. And all I did was I kept telling them, just put your hands on me. Because then I knew I had to protect myself. And that's what I kept telling him over and over. I said, I'm not touching you. You put your hands on me, and then we'll see how tough you are. And they never would. There was 3 of them, and they never would. Of course, they was, you know, hard talking. You know, go back to that cell back there, and we'll show you all that talk, you know. But they wouldn't have done it anyway. The reason why is because they seen my eyes. They seen in my eyes that I wasn't one to fool with. That I had a power that no, they didn't, and that was God. And I still have him, and that's why this depression that grabs me and makes me just, I don't want to live this life. I'll be honest with you. I don't. I want to die. I want to go home. What a glorious day that will be. I'm sad every day of my life. I wake up sad. I don't want to get out of the bed. I feel like I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough for anyone. Like my dad said, I'm just white trash. That's how I feel, honestly, about myself. That's what gets me every day. I feel that. And it's not nothing to do with nobody. And nobody makes me feel that way. My wife, she's the best wife in the world. I'm going to tell you that right now. Beautiful, sweet, and she's the only one that has been able to understand what I go through and be able to put up with it. She's been with me for 3.5 years now. And not once has she offered to hit me or leave or anything because of my illness. Because sometimes it gets bad, guys. I mean, I'm telling you. I've never hit nobody or nothing like that, you know. But sometimes I'll yell and I get mean and just rage fit sometimes, and then sometimes I'll just sit and cry and not want to do nothing. And biggest part of my issue is my PTSD too. I was having nightmares all the time, but I got medicine for that and it actually works. But my issue was because of my past and because of the way I was done. I have been cheated on by every girl I've ever been with. Honest to God. That's the honest to God truth. I don't think one girl, maybe one, never cheated on me. Every one of them broke my heart and hurt me. And I was a drug addict. But now, there was only one of them that actually knew about it because I lied to them. All the other ones, they had no clue I was doing drugs. And it wasn't just a breakup, you know. If it was just a normal breakup, it'd be different. But it was rip your heart out cheating. And I was always the loyal person. I've always been. Even though I was as bad as I am and was evil and all that, the one thing I can say is I was loyal. The ones that went to bat for me, I stayed with. So, my girlfriends, most of them I was with for a year or longer. My first girlfriend ever was 4 years. 4 years I was with her. Man, she cheated. Oh, man, that was hard. But because of that, and I know it's PTSD that caused it, which I might have been a little bit, you know, trust issues, but might have been a little. But I know for a fact after that car wreck, and I ended up having the PTSD, over the trauma, and seeing my best friend dead, that I killed, you know, that's how I feel. I have to live with that every day. I was driving. I killed him. I don't know what happened, but I killed him. And he was a better man than me. And his kids had to grow up without a father when I was a deadbeat white trash. That's me. That's how I feel. That's how I felt. And I'll never get that out of my head. But that's just, you know. So after that, though, after I got that PTSD is when I started having real bad trust issues. So my wife I'm with now, when we first got together, it was really bad because I was just getting my medicine and all that worked out. And of course I had reasons, but I would accuse her all the time. All the time. And be mean about it. And it was bad. And she stuck with me because she knew it wasn't me. She knew deep down, my wife knows deep down that it's not real me. It's not me. It's the depression and the PTSD that's causing it, that talks. And a lot of people can't handle that, and that's okay. A lot of people can't deal with it, but she can, and that's why I know God sent her to me. She's the only one that knows and understands. Of course, she don't understand fully because she don't have the stuff I have. Now, she's been beat on by her ex-husband and everything else. But she's doing better with that now, you know. But she knows. She knows it's not me. But the point of this is God. God. That's the whole point. Jesus Christ. That's the whole point. And mental health. I know it feels like you can't do it no more and you need help. You don't want to open up and you feel like you're trapped and you have nobody there. But you do. But you do. There's always somebody there. Most of the time there is people out there that care. You just don't know it. You don't know them. Don't feel it. But there's always one I know that's always with you. You just have to reach out. And that is God and Jesus Christ. They are always, always with you. You reach out to them and I promise you, they'll change your life. And of course you still sin, you still cuss, you're still going to do all that. And it don't mean, oh, I messed up, I'm going to hell. No. Because Jesus Christ said out of his mouth, no flesh, anybody made of flesh will always sin. There's no sinless people. Not even preachers, pastors, whatever. They're not. Everyone's going to sin because we're still made out of flesh. But guys, that's time. About run over a little bit, so I appreciate you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope somebody gets something from that. I just want to help people keep from going through what I had to. But this has been good, guys. This is Right Family Gaming.